Alright, so since we're here, I. Like, right now, I do see the purpose of the journey. But then while I was in the journey, I was like, what the fuck? Like, why this just keeps on happening? And then now I'm working full time as a spiritual counselor. And so, well, not only I got a huge wish fulfillment out of the trouble, but then I also get the chance to help clients understand the process of similar journeys. Um, but yeah, basically, what happened to me is that, professionally speaking, and after a while, I started seeing the process accelerating. I felt like I was going through the same experience over and over and over and over and over. And well, today I want to address a specific experience that I had as a professional, because I still have to do that. And well, I'm also entitled to my healing. The company has been slandered across continents and countries already. I'm not going to name names as per now. I'm just going to put out the the dynamics. I'm not doing anything to hide them either. It's just that I don't feel like doing some publicity stunt as per now. Um, as per now. So basically, I received this job offer that felt extremely aligned with my own goals, my own patterns, my own skills, and at the same time, it had an element of novelty. So it was a little bit scary, exciting, like, I don't know. It could be the equivalent for me to take a dive into deep dark waters, because that truly scares the shit out of me. But then each and every time where I find the courage to do that, I feel like I have overcome a new phase of my life, to a point like I'm not. I was watching these videos making fun of cave explorers. Like, no, I'm truly not into extreme sports. It's just that if I don't know what the fuck lives underneath that, perhaps I'm not that pressure to pay a visit. So I was supposed to start working as a writer and a music writer specifically. And it felt, as I said, it felt extremely aligned, because I had just been selected as singer and songwriter by an independent label. So I was like, okay, like, this is the perfect match. Okay, I am going to be doing music and working around music. All is well. So before that, my portfolio was mainly composed of a variety of pieces. Well, my experience was pretty diverse up until this point, but then right before that, I was handling the social media for something that was not truly a match, because the owner was extremely chaotic, and so it had its own style. But before that, I was working for a nonprofit, so I had a bunch of pieces that I had sent as example of my writing style. And I received the first assignment, and I was told to look a little bit at what had been what was already present on the website. So the type of instructions that I had received was quite sterile, and no biggie. At the same time, I had been assigned an editor, so I was like, okay, let's do just a trial run. I'm going to use my own voice the same way I had been using my own voice for the pieces that I had sent in order to get hired, and then apply feedback, and that will give me my entry door. Okay, because I'm not going to spend, I don't know, 2 weeks trying to learn the way somebody else writes, and I've been writing my entire life. Especially because I had been reading those pieces, to be honest, it was boring as fuck. I was not going to say right away, but then this is a pretty strong opinion that I have been keeping ever since college. Honestly, if you put that much work to make it overcomplicated, it's pretty clear to me that you have very little to say. So, all of that was being concealed, okay? I just had my own idea. I sent the first piece, and it was sent back to me with plenty of annotations, and I could just see the tone of the annotations, like, what the hell is this? Why would you say this? And since the piece was written on a shared document, something unspecified, that now, let's just call it for what it is, my intuition told me, don't work on the piece directly on that document. You're working with a bitch. And I just knew that this person was trying to get me fired, like was trying to get my work trashed and all of that. So I decided to play smart, and I copy pasted the work on another document, did the work that was required. I understood a little bit better how I was supposed to send over pieces from that point on. Everything was good, and I said a teeny tiny lie that at the same time was not going to hurt anybody, about the fact that I had to face unstable internet connection, so I was not able. I sent the document that I had been working on instead of the shared doc, okay? And I said that I was not having good internet connection, so deal with it. It's not even that much of an issue at the end of the day. The work is done. Get over it. I got ghosted. So, okay, whatever. But at the same time, no, because I am scheduling time for you guys. So if you want to fire me, you'll have to face this. So I think I wrote back, like, what's going on? Am I supposed to be receiving some sort of assignment? And I could see right through this person's intention. It was clear as day. Literally, who the fuck are you trying to fool? Because that person is not going to be me. So I was challenged. Can you do an interview? I can do 20 interviews per day if you pay me accordingly. So I was asked to do to compose a longer piece. The previous work was also an interview, but it came out pretty short because the artist herself just didn't want to share that much. I asked, do you want to publish this? Do you want to put a spotlight on anything? No, I sincerely don't give a fuck. And then the next one, I sent a written list of questions, and I received a whole bunch of information. Therefore, I was able to write a longer piece. And by then, I already knew what I was supposed to be doing because we were already aligned. Okay? Like, truly, it takes me one round, then we're good. I sent it over, and I got ghosted again. Again, if you want to fire me, you'll have to say it or write it. Either way, you'll have to face it. So I write back, what's going on? Are we going to move forward? I know I'm a freelance, but at the same time, if I'm going to schedule time for you, I should probably know. So the same shitty editor sent me on a mission. I was supposed to find a list of content that could go on social media. And so I did so. Spent a whole bunch of time on that, and I don't know if that was some sort of cultural fight, my culture is better than yours. But the bitch decided to trash, like finally it was her time to shine, to trash my work and to assign me I don't even think that I received the assignment in that occasion. She just replaced the whole work with stuff that was more related to the Soviet culture. And I mean, why not? I could have done the fucking research if you if you had said so. But no, you gave me totally different explanations, and so here we fucking are. So at that point, I'm like, okay, if you're the person in charge of evaluating my performance, this is not going to go well. You're stupid, you're threatened, you're insecure, you're unprofessional, and you're a cunt. So what I did, I wrote an email to the person who hired me, and I explained the situation using the most neutral tone that I was able to find. And I told to this person, who also happened to be the CEO, this and this happened, and at this point I don't even know what I'm supposed to be doing. So we schedule a meeting, and the guy goes, I'm confused. You're confused? Yes, because this person is so trustworthy. We've been working together for years. And I'm like, just double check. Literally, it was a remote position. Everything was done via email. Everything that was being directly exchanged, you can double check. So if you're confused, start reading, motherfucker. So he believed me because he didn't really have a choice. And he told me, well, her job is to be the editor and your job is to be the writer. So what she's been doing is your job and you're doing nothing. And I'm like, yeah, that's I'm glad you're catching up. I'm proud of you. That's the whole fucking point. What now? So he's like, okay, let me conduct an investigation. Sure, take your fucking time. So they basically left me in the void. I had to take up on random gigs here and there because I had been scheduling time for them. So this was happening a little bit out of the blue. But at the same time, the job per se was pretty ideal. So I'm like, okay, if they come back, I might be willing to listen, at least. Which they did. And the genius solution, instead of just firing the motherfucker as if there was a scarcity of arrogant and stupid editors outside in the world, was to create a email thread and to add a third party, a third person to the project. I was assigned a whole different project, smaller texts. I had to conduct the research, and that was also pretty cool because um, the the goal behind the writing, like, of course there's the technical goal, which is writing well, getting those numbers, but then um, the higher goal was to make sure that good traffic would go towards independent music projects. So I'm hyped. I'm assuming that the third guy, was supposed to play as pacifier. And if you ever see this, oh my god, change profession. So we started organizing the work using a common spreadsheet on Excel. And I'm like, oh, oh, because I mean, I have a double degree, and I studied literature writing as well as journalism, but then also psychology. And honey, that cunt was still that cunt. Don't try and fool me. Fool your mom, I don't know. So, guess what the fuck happened? PCs started disappearing. I started taking screenshots even of my own farts. The email thread became 300 pieces of poetry because I was flagging everything, and it was like, you can take it personally, you can take it up the ass, you can take it where the fuck you need to take it, but at the same time the goal is to get the job done. So if my work disappears, my job is to make sure that that is flagged, that the work is delivered, and if you stay bitter, I don't give a fuck. I think that I started losing it when the stupid bitch, I was a part of a company, a dance company. I'm also a dancer. Suck it up. And I was supposed to be traveling almost weekly during that time. And so, out of politeness, because that was not even hindering my performance, I was waking up at 5 a.m. to deliver. Like, you can't, technically, I know that you can't complain, okay? But out of politeness, even if I had, I don't know, 10 minutes of delay, I casually mentioned, I have been traveling, sorry, the piece is right here. Of course, on the other side, there was absolutely no effort to be manageable. The assignment would fall at the worst possible hours, dates were being messed up. And as I said, I completely lost it when that cunt had the nerve to erase my piece, be as loud as possible, making us know that she was traveling back home, probably to suck her own brother dick, and rewrite the whole piece that I was supposed to get paid for. Of course, this was not the first attack, so at that point I brought the other guy in. Listen up, my job is not to be her therapist. I don't give a fuck about taking writing classes from her because the way she writes sucks. This is a joke. If that person has the time to rewrite a fucking piece, she has the time to keep up with an actual decent schedule. Also, stupid cunt. Really? Like, what was I supposed to be feeling back then? jealousy, similarities. Ugh, invited nowhere. And I bet that's still the case. So everything had to be put on pause. And let's remind the higher goal of all of this, because if you look around, there are viral videos slamming the company because they were not getting shit done. And you give yourself the luxury to derail everything because you cannot stand that I'm doing okay, that I'm smart, that I'm artsy, that I'm dynamic, and I sincerely don't give a fuck about you. Like, truly, if you think that a professional position is there to help you make friends, leave the planet. So as you can guess, it didn't end there. The other guy had the nerve to write me, it's important to stay solution oriented. Honey, here I'm literally the only one who's striving for solutions. What the fuck are you guys even doing over there? Sucking each other's dicks? You can do that on your free time, not on mine. I think that's a pretty fair thing to ask. The level of denial was crazy, and to this day I still wonder why. I mean, I'm imagining that person is holding passwords and has access to those platforms, but at the end of the day, is your company more important than your platform? Because what I saw. So we kept on going. As you can guess, I still had to report a bunch of stuff. I still had to be assigned a bunch of pieces that the motherfucker was constantly deleting under nonsensical claims. The other guy was doing absolutely horse shit or nothing. And I was going with the flow, okay? Yes, my paycheck was being reduced, but at the same time, my lifestyle wasn't changed. My own platforms were going pretty well. I was selling my services. I had not been hired as a spiritual consultant, but that was the plan. So yes, during my free time, I'm also on my social media. I'm also not all covered up because honestly, the main question would remain, what the fuck are you even doing, you on my platform? And I was never truly told anything about, I don't know, you have to polish your image or you have to look a certain way on social media to work with us. I mean, you work with rock stars. If you're lame like that, I don't know, perhaps start working with Amish people. Nothing against, it's just choose your crowd wisely, stupid ass. So one day I posted a video where I was wearing a bikini and the video about it just went viral. And I was doing some shimmy work because part of my work is not just giving people advice. Like sometimes those advice are practical things. And moving your body in a certain way is healthy. It helps you take decisions that don't smell like crap. Mind you, a couple hours later, I receive an email. The CEO wants to talk to me. So I got fired. But he told me that it was because he made a stupid decision, a stupid investment, and I didn't say a word back in the day, but at the same time, if I'm allowed, why would you even do that? You're an international company and you want to invest in a warehouse in probably the country that's giving you the least amount of money? How is that even supposed to work? You're a CEO. Why the fuck? But anyway, I was not a part of the decision-making team, so okay. So he told me, I stayed clueless for a while because he told me this truth that was indeed happening. And then he told me, if you could stay in the loop, we'll call you back. Sure, it's my fucking ideal job, so why not? I just hate that cunt, and I think that you're too stupid to figure out what that cunt, like what level of liability that cunt really is. So, for your sake, why not? Anyway, time passes, and time keeps on passing, and at some point it's a little bit too much time. And so I go back around and I start double checking. And I see that they were hiring for my same position, so I'm like, somebody's getting lied to. And I'm a spiritual person. I can't explain this to motherfuckers who just can't get it. But unfortunately, I can't move on until I move on. So I decided to go to the bottom of this. In a very peaceful way, I wrote an email and I said, I see that you're still hiring, and while I fully respect your decision to move forward, I need to know that the opportunity is fully over, because I need to update my CV, I need to do the necessary procedures and yada yada. And I kind of also want a work certificate, because officially it was not my fault, and I have no intention to look stupid on your behalf, so do your fucking job. While I wait for an answer, I take a tour around the website. Surprise. What do you think I found? There was a new piece. Oh, the horror show. The way I could tell it was that cunt writing. No, you're not going to give me a Wikipedia worth introduction about what hip hop is. No, you're not. So I start reading, sorry. And the bitch was trying to introduce us all to hip hop as a new genre. Literally, it was the discovery of the year for her. I don't know where the fuck the creature had been living up until that point. I guess that she had been retrieved for a gutter and placed in that position by absolute chance. And TV was not an option, even though she was flexing the money to work across country. Literally start writing instead of stalking me. So at that point, I'm pissed. Because it's clear to me that you're being bullied around by feces. I'm paying the price for this. The whole company is a shit show. Can I at least get a fucking work certificate? Oh, they also forgot to pay me. Like the last paycheck, who knows? So I insist he ghosts. And I started writing to absolutely everything and everyone I could find. You either give me my fucking money or my fucking work certificate. It's so simple. Because you all want to play also professional. None of you is. I'm over here using your criteria, and it's playing against you. So I what's the word? The Pandora box opened. So the third guy lets me in the fact that they were telling the world that they had been cyber attacked. By whom? Literally, you're going down. Who the fuck cares like that? Oh, come on now. The finance person had no idea about what was happening. She tried to put me in contact with the CEO, who just repeated, "We'll contact you back." At this point, don't send me my work certificate though. He ghosted. So I reached out to a whole bunch of people. Other people had to be laid off. And apparently, the guy who hired me was even more of a little shit that I could possibly think about. He was skipping meetings, he was ghosting coworkers the entire time. At this point, I think it was just a bunch of three people on coke. And it's shocking because I mean, how can you even go that far and then it goes bad like that? I mean, from a spiritual perspective, from a spiritual point of view, sometimes people are truly just given a taste of what they truly want, and then it's being shown to them that their actual skill set is not up to date. Like they're either not a good enough person or whatever. But then from a technical point of view, you have the nerve to fucking judge me? How? With what? So anyway, I just left traces here and there that my part was done. And then months later, as I said in the beginning, I realized that the scandal went viral. And they never addressed the issue. Up until this point, I'll have to do a little bit more research, but I think that they're currently hiding. They're sending out material again, but communication-wise, what's the plan? So anyway, since that was not the only experience that I had in that sense, I am more and more convinced that the main and true reason why they don't want women on the workplace is because it shines a light on how stupid most of you fucking are. And yes, there were women in there, but I'm sorry, there's woman and woman. You're over there competing, you suck. You're over there polishing and making sure that the stupid person in charge keeps on doing bullshit, you suck. Don't go and hire somebody who can be the voice of inclusivity, and then when it comes to actually facing inclusivity, it irks you. It's too much. How the fuck do you even think about using transparency as added value? Because that was supposed to be a non-profit. You're not doing good. You're just not. And that's why it doesn't work. And that's why you have so many people on your ass. The microscopic shows the reality of the macroscopic. You excuse that? That's why the whole thing is now a shit show. It's so simple when you stop being stupid.